So I just watched a brand new Screen Life film. For those of you who are not familiar with the term Screen Life, it's kind of like found footage, but everything takes place on a laptop screen, a la Unfriended, Searching, Missing, Host. There's been a bunch of these. And this movie's weird because it kind of feels like it's 5 years too late in a way. This takes place during the COVID pandemic, and it definitely made me wonder if this was filmed during that time, because they did show clips at the end where everyone was filming from their laptops, but I don't know why it would take 5 years for this to finally get released, but here we are. This is a 2025 release. This can be watched for free on tons of different apps, whether it's Plex or Fandango at Home or Tubi or Roku channel. I watch this on Fandango at Home, and I will say that's probably the best place that I have watched an ad service, like free streaming place. Now obviously Vudu, or Fandango at Home as it is called now, mostly is for rentals and whatnot, but they do have free films here and there, and I have not watched many on there. But I will say this probably only had 5 or 6 commercial breaks, as to where like Tubi would have more than that for sure. Plex would have 5 times that many. So if I could recommend watching it for free anywhere with ads, it would be on Fandango at Home. Anyway, so this plays out a lot like Unfriended in its opening, or Host, if you will. But Host is more of like a seance type thing. I don't want to give away what kind of subgenre that it goes into, but that was just kind of the opening vibes that I was getting, the friend dynamic and whatnot. This is very well made and acted, and I did quite like the mystery and the journey, and I thought all of that was done and well executed. And so the couple things to note here, which made this for a odd viewing experience. I don't really understand the decision, and I see this here and there, but this is one that was very odd to me. The very beginning, which is maybe 2 or 3 minutes long, is totally traditional filmmaking, as is the last 30 seconds to a minute, and absolutely no reason for it at all, in my opinion. There's no reason that either of these couldn't have been done in the Screen Life found footage style. The opening scene could have been done through a FaceTime call, and the ending could have just not moved out of the computer and continued to remain on the screen. I don't understand the decision here. Is it a make or break type of thing for the film for me? No, because it's, do I like the movie? That's all that really matters. And I'm not some found footage purist exactly, but I just don't understand why. What's the point? If you're going to make a Screen Life film, if you're going to make a found footage film, whatever you want to call it, just stick with it, especially when it's completely unnecessary to break from the format. It's a bizarre decision, in my opinion. So that was jarring. But putting that aside, I don't think it really hurts the film all that much. It just was confusing. Secondly, and I think the biggest problem with the film, and what definitely hurts the film, you will be screaming at the screen a good amount. There's definitely those horror movie cliche type moments where you, the audience member, are screaming why the hell are you doing this thing, right? There's a good amount of that. Not a ton, but a good amount. Also, there's a decent amount of like misplaced humor in my opinion. Once things really start ramping up, the jokes really just need to go away. Like, there's no way people at this state, in the story, are going to still be like cracking jokes, saying certain things that they're saying. It doesn't fit. And there's a really hard fine line you have to walk for the believability, especially with screen life, found footage, mockumentary type films, because they are all about the realism, right? It's all about selling that this is actually happening, despite it might, be supernatural or whatever. It still needs to feel real and authentic to work in this subgenre, and that is difficult. But there is this fine line between characters being skeptical and being stupid. There are definitely points in the film where you're like, okay, enough with the skepticism. Like, there's so much banter back and forth and eye roll inducing moments where it's like, how have you not gotten it through to your fucking thick skull that this is not a prank anymore? This has proven itself. Like, why would anyone go to these lengths to prank? I was very, very intrigued with the opening like 20 minutes. Once something's revealed, once a character goes missing and they start to investigate, there's a couple things early on into the investigation where I was like, oh, this is very intriguing. Like, I'm very invested right now. What is going on? I couldn't even come up with a reason in my head in the moment. I was like, oh, and I was like really trying to ponder the possibilities, and I had to actually pause the movie and think about it for a minute, like, what could be going on here? Now, I would like to go back and rewatch a certain thing dealing with a door. I swear I thought wouldn't work. I have not went back to look. You'd have to watch the movie, and we'd have to talk about it in the comments below for you to be like, what are you talking about? I don't know if that applies here or not. I'd have to look. But putting that aside and barring that I go back and look and I'm like, oh, never mind, it works. It's all good. I just don't see how that worked. I swear I saw it differently, but whatever. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That was cool. So the opening, the friend dynamic, everything felt very well developed, and I was like, cool, I'm on board with these people. They feel like friends. It feels like a really solid foundation for like an Unfriended or a Host or whatever, which are films that I love. As you know, if you've watched the channel, I'm a big found footage, mockumentary, screen life fan, and I cover a lot of them here on the channel. And screen life is like the sub genre that I have the most wins versus losses, right? The percentage is much more in the win column typically in the screen life films. I just like this style. It resonates with me. I don't see a ton that I don't like. So this one was really winning me over. And in the end, I did like it. I did. I just think there will be a lot of people who are watching this who get very annoyed with characters and how dismissive they can be. It becomes annoying. It becomes like, oh, come on. And then there's like stupid decision making, and there's conveniences, and just kind of all the typical horror stuff. And I know a lot of people like to hand wave that stuff away, like, oh, it's a horror movie, what do you expect? If characters were smart, you wouldn't even have a movie. I call bullshit on that for sure, but I can meet them halfway. I can go, okay, I can suspend disbelief. I can look the other way to an extent. That's the fine line, right? You have to give and take a little bit. It's like, all right, I'll extend you this, but you have to meet me here, right? You have to make it just believable enough. Have a couple lines of dialogue, set up something with a character, whatever, for me to, kind of be like, all right, they explained it at least. Man, this is why they're still recording, or this is why, this character doesn't believe this person, or whatever. You set up some distrust in the past where they've pranked them before, or, whatever. And I don't know. There's points you get to in this film where you're like, come on, man. Come on, no way you're still making jokes. No way you're doing this thing. No way this happens. There's conveniences, and some of them are fine. Some of them are like, that's just typical movie stuff, and I'm totally willing to accept all of that stuff. I think if you're a big Screen Life film fan, and you like stuff like Host and stuff like Unfriended and stuff like, I mean, I can name tons and tons of these types of movies, whether it's Ratter or Open Windows or The Den, or like we've covered tons and tons of them on the channel. If you are a fan of that stuff, then definitely check this one out. But understand that there's going to be some character stuff going on in here that's going to annoy you. That being said, there's good stuff throughout. There's a good mystery that's built up, and you are engaged. So I'll be curious on how many people are like, no, this is so annoying at times, and check out. But I dug it. And I thought I was gonna say something else about the movie. I was gonna mention this guy's underwear in this scene, which is really, it just kept like, what is up with his, like, it looked like he had almost like a hard on during this fucking scene. It was really funny. That wasn't what I was going to talk about, but it was just like a funny little note while I was watching it. I was like, who would get on a FaceTime call or a Zoom call with their friends laying in their underwear on the bed when one of his underwear's flap is like sticking straight up, like he has a hard on, and everyone's like just completely ignoring it. It's kind of funny to me. I swear there was something else I wanted to mention within this. If I think of it, I'll put it in the comments. But yeah, it's, as I said, available to watch right now for free, or you can rent it if you want to support the film financially, monetarily, like that. You can do that as well. So check it out. Let me know. I'll see you in the comments.